بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وبارك على الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, Alhamdulillah, by the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have just completed the second night of Salat al-Tarawih for this year of Ramadan. And as mentioned, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, throughout some of these nights, we aim to sit down together and go through some points of benefit from the speech of our ulama, Ahlul Ilm, Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And what I intend to read with you today, inshallah, is from this book, which is printed, and it is around the gatherings of Shaykhana Shaykh Rabi' ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, hafidhahullah ta'ala, where he had gatherings in the month of Ramadan in the year 1430 Hijrah, so it's now 14 years ago, where this gathering, the jalsa, would consist of, it'll be a jalsa more or less every day in the month of Ramadan. And a jalsa will consist of someone reciting from a juz or something close to a juz of Quran, and then the Shaykh, hafidhahullah, mentioning some of commentary upon some of the ayat found within those ajza. And within that month as well, there'll be some mashayikh that will come to visit, and they may mention some ta'liqat as well, some commentary upon ayat as well. And alhamdulillah, by the fadl of Allah, that all of these jalsat were, all of these gatherings, each of these sittings were transcribed and printed into a book which we have now, Bayna Aydina. And alhamdulillah, the Shaykh intended, and Allah Ta'ala was best to go through, have the recitation of all of the Quran from beginning to end. And whilst it didn't complete that, he managed to go through a large amount of it, and they did up from Surah Al-Baqarah all the way up into Surah Al-Qiyamah, alhamdulillah. And so the intent, inshallah, is just to read from some portions of this book, inshallah, and some portions of this jalsat. Allah Ta'ala knows best. And this particular jalsat was the jalsa which included Shaykh Muhammad al-Wasabi from Yemen, rahimahullah, and he mentioned some ta'liqat upon some of the ayat found in Surah Al-Yasin. Specifically the ayah where Allah Ta'ala states, وَإِذَا كِيلَ لَهُمْ أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ قَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَنُطْعِمُ مَنْ لَوْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ وَأَطْعَمَهُ. And so the Shaykh mentions, for Allah Ta'ala يبين في هذا أن من صفة الكافرين أن يدنوا بما فرض الله عليهم من أموالهم. And so the ayah mentions that if it is said to those that are bestowed with the rizq, the provision from Allah Ta'ala, to spend in that way, those that disbelieve will say to the believers, how shall we feed those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have fed if He willed? Why should we feed those if Allah Ta'ala has not fed them by way of His will? And so this is an explanation of the sifa and a description of those that disbelieve in terms of the way that they are with their wealth, and the fact that they do not intend to spend anything from their wealth. And so Allah Ta'ala has mentioned that from the affair of the aghniya, the rich, is that it's fard upon them to spend upon the fuqara. An obligation upon them to spend upon the fuqara. And that they give from that which they've been bestowed from rizq upon the fuqara by way of zakat. And Allah Ta'ala قد حذر المسلمين المؤمنين الصادقين أن يظنون أن الله خاذلهم. And so Allah Ta'ala has warned the believers, the Muslims, the believers, those that are truthful, from the false assumption and ill thought of Allah Ta'ala that Allah Ta'ala has turned away from them. And that Allah Ta'ala essentially betrayed them in that regard by way of the fact that they may not have wealth. And that in reality, Allah Ta'ala, if a person fears by way of rizq, the reality is that Allah Ta'ala may enrich him by way of his virtue in a manner which he is not aware. For Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Ta'ala makes easy لأهل التقوى والصلاح ومن يقوموا بدعوة الحق. Allah Ta'ala makes the affairs easy for those that are upon taqwa, the people of taqwa, the people that attain and those that adhere to the da'wah of the haqq, call to the haqq. Allah Ta'ala makes the affairs easy for them. The affairs of dunya. And makes the affair of khair in deen and dunya easy for them. وقد ربط الله عز وجل الأرزاق بالتقوى. Allah Ta'ala has mentioned the affair of taqwa, or the affair of your provisions, and he's mentioned it and described it alongside your taqwa. The taqwa of the abd is directly linked to his rizq, or his rizq is directly linked to his taqwa. And so one is a result of the other. فقال الله تبارك وتعالى ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. Allah Ta'ala states, and whoever fears Allah, Allah Ta'ala will make a way out for him, and he will provide for him from means of that which he has not accounted for. And likewise Allah Ta'ala states, ولو أن أهل القرى آمنوا واتقوا لفتحنا عليهم بركات من السماء والأرض. Allah Ta'ala likewise states, and if the people, the inhabitants of the town, believe and attain and adhere to piety, then indeed we will bestow upon them, open upon them, the blessings of the heavens and the earth. فالذين يقومون بدعوة الحي القيوم يغنيهم الله من فضله. And so the one that in reality he attains and he establishes the da'wah to the haqq, according to the haqq, according to Allah Ta'ala, al-Hayy al-Qayyum, then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will enrich him by way of his virtue. Wallahu Azza wa Jal amra an yakuna al-maqsood al-insan wa ta'ati Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has commanded us that what our intent is and what our purpose is ta'atillah. I obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. وأن الله يسخر الدنيا لعباده حتى تستعمل في طاعة الله عز وجل. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has prepared and given us this dunya so that we may use it in the means of obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. So this, in reality, in relation to the affair of the dunya, is that we do not become immersive in the dunya and become overly engaged with the dunya. Rather, our relationship with the dunya is one where we use it for the obedience to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And our maqsood, our intent, and the purpose behind our existence in itself is obedience to Allah, obedience to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And so anything that we can use to aid us in that, then we use it. We do not over-engage in the dunya. And so this is, barakallahu feekum, is the meaning of zuhud. If you hear the term zuhud, or you hear the term that fulan is a zahid, that the reality is that the person that adheres to zuhud, is abstinence from the dunya, is not that he is impoverished. That a person does not have wealth, for example. Rather, the person's relationship with that wealth is only in relation to his ta'ah. That his relationship with the wealth, he only uses that wealth and he only sees the importance of the wealth so that it can aid him in obedience to Allah. And he doesn't overly exert himself with that wealth. Likewise, you have a narration which Al-Albani rahimahullah mentioned in Sahih, where he mentions the Prophet ﷺ said, صلاح الأول هذه الأمة بالزهد واليقين ويهلك آخرها بالبخل والعمل. And so, he mentioned the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam stated that the rectification of the beginning of this ummah was by way of zuhud wal yaqeen. By way of this way of zuhud, this absence of the dunya, and yaqeen. And by way of this affair of certainty, and certainty what you believe in. And towards the end of this ummah, it will become destructed or destroyed by way of bukhul wal amal, and by way of the individuals becoming stingy and miserly, as well as expectation. And that the people expect to be given something. That by way of a person being a particular way, or by way of a person living within the dunya, they expect it for themselves. And so thus, this is a means of destruction. This particular sifa. And so it's pointed here, barakallahu fikum, in this narration where it mentions that from this sifat of destruction, or for causation of destruction, is al-bukhl, a person being stingy, miserly, holds on to wealth when they should just let go of it. Because it goes back to the aforementioned ayah, that this is from the sifat mentioned of the kuffar. That when they were told to spend their wealth, they rejected that. Saying that that Allah Ta'ala would have provided for them if He willed. So they rejected spending their wealth. And so no doubt this is a sifa which is mazmuma, a blameworthy characteristic to have. And thus this is a characteristic which may be the causation of a destruction of an individual or a nation. And so thus this is why it's important that this is mentioned here. And so it's important that the people have hirs. Now they're steadfast and ardent when it comes to their wealth. That they hold on firm to that wealth and spend it in a manner which is good. And spend it in a way in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded, or in the right way of the obligations. And they do not allow that wealth to be a means of their destruction. And Allah Tabarak wa ta'ala knows best. Alhamdulillah, we'll conclude here. Jazakum Allah khairan, ikhwa. Wa barakallahu feekum. Wa sallallahu wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.